magical beings, welcome or welcome back. My name is Sarah and I am the Woodland Witch. A happy spring to all of you. This week in the Northern Hemisphere, we celebrated Ostara, also known as the spring equinox, and spring has officially begun, unless you live in New England like me. We still have snow on the ground here. It's slowly but surely melting away, and the days are getting lighter and warmer. Today is actually a really beautiful day. Regardless, I wanted to share some of my springtime magic and celebrations with you. Since I moved up here to New England, bioregionalism has really played a big role in my craft. A lot of the seasons don't line up the way that they used to when I lived in North Carolina. Spring is much later, winter is much sooner. So my craft, as well as my herbalism practice and my foraging practice, has adjusted quite a bit over the last year. I've really started to honor the seasons as they show. My Sabbath celebrations don't necessarily line up the same anymore, but now that it is starting to feel even just a little bit like spring, I wanted to share with you some of the traditions and the practices that I like to incorporate as we transition from winter into spring. Winter was very long for me. It was transformative, but somehow rejuvenating. I really experienced a lot of growth in this season. I've always tried to take inspiration from nature and honor my cycles as the cycles of nature occur. I find they line up more often than not. So this winter, I really retreated. I spent a lot of time off social media. I moved. I had a lot of really transformative and growing moments this winter. So I'm feeling a little bittersweet as we transition into spring. The quiet moments are gradually becoming more busy and more exciting. And that's kind of what spring's all about, right? Fertility, growth, planting seeds. But this transition in particular, from winter into spring, the themes have really been about cleansing, spring cleaning, if you will. Really just clearing out old stagnant energy, self-limiting beliefs, old patterns, things that I just don't want to carry into this season. It is also officially Aries season, so we just celebrated the astrological new year. So this little bubble of time is very much about cleansing, clearing, and new beginnings. As I said, this winter was very transformative for me. I shed a lot of layers. I did a lot of healing, just really put in a lot of work into myself. I was doing extra therapy sessions. I just really focused on myself a lot this winter and was trying to heal a lot of wounds that were reopening a little bit. I'm also at the start of my Saturn return. So I'm finding that a lot of things that just don't serve me and don't make me feel good are presenting themselves. Residual emotions and hurts, perceptions and beliefs about myself. I spent a lot of the winter season really trying to transform and reframe my thought process to really just shed all the layers that I no longer wanted to carry into the spring season. We've all heard the phrase spring cleaning, and that really is ringing true for me this year. I always see spring cleaning as more of a physical act of clearing out your house, cleaning the baseboards, deep cleansing. And while I am doing all of that physically, getting rid of items, mementos that I've held on to for years that just remind me of times in my life that I don't want to go back to, I'm also really focusing on the internal cleansing and reframing those thoughts still and carrying all of these themes that were present in winter into this season of spring. One of the things I incorporate at this time of year is a cleansing ritual bath. I've spoken about my uncrossing ritual before. That is something I really like to utilize at this time of year. One of the items I like to utilize in that ritual is a cleansing shower sachet. If you are interested in the recipe for that shower sachet, it is in the spring edition of Botanical Anthology. Botanical Anthology is a digital publication by Plant Wonder Collective. There are over 42 contributors, including myself, and it is chock full of recipes, DIYs, crafts, folklore. It is just the complete guide to celebrating spring and utilizing its magic in all forms. If you are interested in that edition of Botanical Anthology, I will have it linked in the description. But I am going to share just a couple of things with you that I also like to incorporate around this time of year. Springtime always reminds us of gardening, growth, local flora coming back to light. So one of my favorite things to do is create an intentional bouquet for my home. This is a very simple way to practice hearth and home magic. You can go to a local florist or a garden center, pick out corresponding flowers that speak to the intention that you're trying to set. If you have a garden, you can pick your own flowers, you can forage for them. Unfortunately for me, as I said, spring is very slowly returning to us up here in New England, so I am not able to go and forage the things that I would like to or that I normally would. So I went to my local florist and I picked a few flowers that I felt were going to speak to my intention. Now, as I said, I shed a lot of layers this winter. I worked on self-limiting beliefs, perceptions, and all of this inner stuff that was affecting the way that I viewed myself, the way that I felt about myself. So a big theme for me this spring is going to be nourishing and growing my confidence, my self-worth. So when choosing this bundle, I really wanted to focus on flora that spoke to those intentions. My selection was a little limited at the florist because it is very newly spring, but I was still able to find a few things. The 3 items that I chose were dahlia. Dahlia is very great for confidence and empowerment, feeling strong and secure in yourself. I chose chrysanthemum. I was drawn to them at first, mainly because of the color. They're yellow and bright and just warming all around. I looked up the correspondence of this specific type of chrysanthemum, and they symbolized rebirth and transformation, which I thought was very fitting for this transition from winter into spring and experiencing so much growth and rebirth and purging that I wanted to really accentuate that and carry that transformation through. I think we all owe it to ourselves to have a rebirth and a fresh start and to just move forward with integrity and authenticity. And so I felt that these chrysanthemums really represented that for me. I also grabbed some baby's breath and a little bit of greenery just to break up this bouquet a little bit. When crafting a bouquet, I really like to create depth. I like to draw the eye in a lot of different places, but still keep a good flow to it. So I chose a lot of colors that made me feel warm and bright and confident. Baby's breath for cleansing, purification, tranquility, and peace. And these are all intentions that I am really wanting to set into my home and with myself. I really love making intentional bouquets. It's one of my favorite Hearthcraft activities. I think it's very easy to do. It's a physical reminder every time you walk by it. It just gives you such a sense of warmth and comfort, and it reminds you of all of these things that you're trying to call in. And I think that's a really big part of self-love magic, is creating these physical and constant reminders of your worth, of your confidence, of what you deserve, of love. And that is exactly what I did with this bouquet. So to push the spring cleaning just a little bit further, I really wanted to utilize something more mundanely. Now I just came out with my Cottage and Hearth collection, which was all about cleaning the home with intention, creating magic in the mundane activities that we are doing every day. These items really play a big role at this time of year because spring cleaning is so prevalent. Really easy way to incorporate magic into your everyday life is to do it while you're cleaning. Because the big theme is shedding layers and cleansing and purification this season, I wanted to do a cleansing floor sweep. This recipe will differ from the one that I do sell in my shop. When I'm crafting my own floor sweeps, I like to add and incorporate ingredients a little bit differently each time. When you are creating your own floor sweep, just be sure to be wary of pets and children. Things like eucalyptus cannot be used on your floors if you have pets in the area. For this floor sweep, I chose dried lemon, rosemary, a little bit of baking soda, and rose. So these ingredients I specifically chose for their cleansing and purification properties. I also added the rose just to promote confidence, self-love, and just general love throughout the home. This blend can be steeped on the stove just like a tea and added to your mop water to create your floor wash. If you do not want to use this wash as a wet wash, you can also add it to your carpet as more of a deodorizer. That is also why I chose to add just a little bit of baking soda for that mundane cleaning element to it. Smell is a really big thing for me. I feel like if a home is harboring a lot of negative or not so good energy, there's always like a smell to it. I don't know how to explain it. So if I'm smelling something a little off or getting a whiff of something here and there that doesn't smell right, I'm like, okay, we're gonna do a cleanse here. When I'm doing this floor sweep, I will allow this to cleanse and deodorize my carpets. I will set the intentions as I am sprinkling it around the room. I have specific incantations that I like to use when doing so. When mopping with it, you can utilize a sigil that you have created for cleansing and purification, or you can create an incantation as well and say it aloud while you are mopping. Floor cleaners and sweeps are a really awesome way to just add a little bit of magic to your mundane cleaning activities that you're already doing. It's the perfect way to spread that intention all throughout your home. As I said, just be wary of your ingredients. Make sure that you're choosing ingredients that are safe for your little ones and your fur babies. I'm feeling really excited about spring and this year to come in general. I feel like things are really starting to shift in a positive way, and I'm just so moved and rejuvenated by all of the growth and things that happened over the winter season. I really surrendered myself to the seasonal shift. So I am remaining open and excited for what spring has to teach me and what it has to offer. I felt so in sync with nature and what was happening around me. My internal world and my external world were mirroring each other. I have found that falling in line with the seasonal shifts has always brought so much to the surface within myself. And it always teaches me a little bit more about myself, what I need, and what I want. All right, magical beings, those are some of my spring celebrations and traditions. I hope that you are all feeling the warmth, getting some vitamin D, planting your seeds. It already feels so magical. I hope that this video inspired you to get crafting and try out some new things and really utilize the energy and magic that spring has to offer. As always, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you all in the next one.